I was cleaning Lila's room when I found it, a small black device nestled inside her favorite teddy bear, Mr. Snuggles. At first, I thought it was just a loose button or maybe some stuffing coming out. But when I pulled at the tiny black speck, a wire came with it. My hands trembled as I examined the device, a miniature microphone, professionally made, deliberately planted. My name is Aubrey, and until this moment, I thought I knew what betrayal felt like. I was wrong. Mommy, is Mr. Snuggles okay? Lila stood in the doorway, her 9-year-old face pinched with concern. I quickly tucked the microphone into my pocket, forcing a smile. Just fixing a loose seam, sweetie. He'll be good as new. She nodded, relief washing over her features. Can I take him to Grandma Martha's tomorrow? She said she'd teach me how to make chocolate chip cookies. My stomach clenched. Martha. Of course it was Martha. Who else would go this far? Who else would violate our privacy, our home, our daughter's innocence? Actually, honey, I think we should postpone the visit. Mr. Snuggles needs surgery. The lie tasted bitter on my tongue, but it was better than the truth. But Grandma's expecting me. Lila's lower lip trembled. I know, I'll call her myself. I pulled Lila close, breathing in the sweet scent of her strawberry shampoo. Why don't you go finish your homework? I'll bring Mr. Snuggles down when he's all fixed up. Once Lila left, I methodically took apart the teddy bear, searching for more devices. There weren't any, but that didn't make me feel better. If Martha had planted one here, where else had she invaded our lives? I heard the front door open. Nathan was home. My husband's footsteps echoed through the house, followed by his usual call, anyone home? Upstairs, I responded, my voice steadier than I felt. He appeared in the doorway, loosening his tie. His smile faltered when he saw the dismembered teddy bear. What happened here? I held up the microphone. Your mother happened. What are you talking about? He stepped closer, frowning. That could be anything. Where did you find it? Inside our daughter's teddy bear, Nathan. The one your mother gave her for her birthday. He took the device, turning it over in his hands. You can't just assume. Who else would do this? I stood up, anger finally breaking through my shock. Who else has been trying to control our lives since the day we got married? Keep your voice down, Nathan hissed, glancing toward the hallway. Lila will hear you. Like someone hasn't been hearing everything already? I snatched the microphone back. Your mother crossed a line, Nathan. She's been crossing lines for years, but this? This is illegal. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I once found endearing. Now it just seemed weak. You need to calm down. There has to be a reasonable explanation. Reasonable? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Tell me what's reasonable about bugging our 9-year-old's bedroom. We don't know it was her. Then who? He had no answer for that. Of course he didn't. We both knew the truth, but only one of us was willing to face it. I gathered the pieces of Mr. Snuggles, my mind already racing ahead. If Martha had gone this far, what else had she done? What else was she capable of? I'm calling my father, I said quietly. Aubrey, don't. He's a lawyer, Nathan. And right now, I need someone on my side. I pushed past him, still clutching the violated teddy bear. Because it's becoming very clear where you stand. As I walked away, I heard him call after me, what are you going to do? I stopped but didn't turn around. I'm going to find every bug she planted. I'm going to document everything. And then, Nathan? Then I'm going to make your mother wish she'd never decided to play this game. I spent the night searching our house, room by room, while Nathan slept on the couch. By morning, I'd found 2 more listening devices, one behind the kitchen clock, another taped under our bedroom dresser. Each discovery felt like a fresh slap across my face. The sun was barely up when my phone buzzed. Martha's name flashed on the screen. I let it ring 4 times before answering. "Aubrey, dear." Her voice dripped honey. "I heard Lila won't be coming over today. Is everything all right?" I gripped the phone tighter, picturing her sitting in her immaculate living room, probably wearing one of those pastel cardigans she loved so much. "Mr. Snuggles needed some repairs. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" A pause. "Just long enough." "I'm not sure what you mean." "No?" "Strange. Because I found something interesting inside him yesterday. Something that doesn't belong in a child's toy." "Oh." Another pause. "Perhaps we should discuss this over coffee? I made those scones you like." "I prefer to have conversations without an audience, Martha." The honey in her voice hardened. "I'm worried about you, dear. Nathan mentioned you've been stressed lately. Spending a lot of time on your phone. Coming home late from work." My blood ran cold. So that's her game. Is that what Nathan said? A mother notices these things. We care about our children's happiness. Yes, we do. I watched Lila through the kitchen window, getting into Nathan's car for school. That's exactly why this conversation isn't over. I hung up before she could respond. Nathan came in, adjusting his tie. Was that my mother? Checking why Lila isn't coming over. I held up the bug from the kitchen clock. Want to explain why you've been discussing our marriage with her? He sighed, reaching for the coffee pot. She's concerned, Aubrey. We all are. You've been different lately. Different? I laughed. You mean since I discovered our house is bugged? Since I realized my husband's been reporting on me to his mother? Don't twist this around. He set his mug down hard enough to splash coffee. You're the one staying late at work, always on your phone. I'm working overtime because we're short-staffed. You know this. You know everything about my schedule because I tell you everything. My voice cracked. When did you stop trusting me? When did you start seeing everything as a conspiracy? He grabbed his briefcase. Maybe Mom's right. Maybe you need help. The words hit like physical blows. Help? Your mother is spying on us, manipulating you, and I need help? Look at yourself. He gestured at the dismantled clock, the scattered drawers. You're tearing our house apart. Because it's already torn apart. We're being watched, Nathan. Our daughter is being watched. How can you not see how wrong this is? He moved toward the door, shaking his head. I'm late for work. We'll talk about this later. No, we won't. I blocked his path. Because later, you'll have already called your mother, and she'll have told you exactly what to think. Something flickered in his eyes, doubt, maybe guilt. But it vanished quickly. Move, Aubrey. I stepped aside, watching him leave. Through the window, I saw him pause at his car, phone already at his ear. I knew who he was calling. My own phone buzzed, a text from my father, got your message. Coming over now. I looked around our violated home, at the evidence of Martha's intrusion scattered across the counter. Nathan thought I was paranoid, seeing conspiracies. But as I picked up another bug, this one from behind a family photo, I realized something worse than paranoia. I'd been blind. Blind to Martha's manipulation, to Nathan's weakness, to the slow erosion of my marriage. Well, I wasn't blind anymore. And Martha was about to learn that she wasn't the only one who could play the long game. I pulled out my phone and dialed. "Hello?" A familiar voice answered. "Sarah? It's Aubrey. Remember that favor you owe me? I need access to the security company's client records. Specifically, anyone who's purchased surveillance equipment in the last 6 months. Because if Martha wanted to spy on me, it was time to find out exactly how deep this rabbit hole went." Sarah's information proved more damning than I'd imagined. Martha hadn't just bought surveillance equipment, she'd hired a private investigator. 3 months of surveillance, all meticulously documented. My stomach churned as I spread the papers across my father's dining room table. "She's been following me." My hands shook as I showed Henry the surveillance photos. Me at work, at the grocery store, having coffee with colleagues. "Look at the dates, this started right after I refused to let her redecorate our house." Henry adjusted his reading glasses, his jaw tightening. "This goes beyond harassment, Aubrey. This is criminal behavior." "Dad, there's more." I pulled out my phone, showing him the text from our neighbor, Carol. "Martha's been telling people I'm having an affair with my boss. That's why she hired the PI to prove it. That explains Nathan's behavior." Henry's voice was gentle, but his eyes were steel. "She's poisoning him against you." The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Nathan's car in the driveway. My father squeezed my shoulder before going to answer it. "Where's my wife?" Nathan's voice carried from the foyer. "Her car's been here all day." "Lower your voice," Henry warned. "You're in my house now." They entered the dining room, Nathan freezing when he saw the scattered surveillance photos. "What is this?" "Your mother's handiwork." I held up a photo of me and my boss having lunch at a cafe. "Tell me, Nathan, when she showed you these, did she mention it was a team lunch? That there were 6 other people at the table?" He stepped closer, picking up photo after photo. These are from a PI? 3 months of surveillance. All because I wouldn't let her redesign our home." I laughed, but it sounded more like a sob. "She's been spreading rumors about me, Nathan. Telling everyone I'm unfaithful. And you believed her." "I didn't." He stopped, color draining from his face as he found the PI's detailed reports. "She said she was worried about you. That you were acting suspicious. And that justified spying on your wife? Bugging our daughter's room?" The front door opened again. "Nathan? Are you here?" Martha's voice, sickeningly sweet. "In here, Mother." Nathan's voice cracked on the word. She appeared in the doorway, perfectly coiffed in her pale blue sweater set. Her smile faltered when she saw the photos. "What's all this?" "Don't." Nathan held up a hand. "Just don't." "Darling, I can explain." "Explain what?" I stood, fury burning away my fear. "How you hired someone to follow me. How you planted listening devices in my home. How you've been telling everyone I'm cheating on your son." "I was protecting my family." Her mask slipped, revealing something ugly beneath. "You've never been good enough for Nathan. I had to make him see." "See what?" Nathan interrupted. "That you're willing to destroy my marriage? My daughter's security? Everything I did for you. No. His voice was quiet, defeated. You did it for yourself. Martha stepped toward him, but Henry moved between them. I think you should leave, Martha. Unless you prefer to explain your actions to the police? She straightened, smoothing her sweater. You're all overreacting. Nathan, come with me. We'll discuss this at home. But Nathan wasn't looking at her. He was staring at a photo of Lila at school, clearly taken with a telephoto lens. You followed my daughter? Martha's composure cracked. I needed to know. Get out. Nathan's hands were shaking. Get out before I forget you're my mother. After she left, silence filled the room. Nathan gathered the photos into a pile, movements mechanical. I'll need copies of everything. For the restraining order. Nathan, I started, but he cut me off. Don't. Please. He looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in months. I don't expect you to forgive me. But I need to fix this. For Lila's sake, if nothing else. As he left, Henry touched my arm. What now? I watched Nathan's car pull away, thinking of all the nights I'd cried myself to sleep, doubting my own sanity. Now? Now we make sure Martha never hurts another family again. Because some betrayals cut too deep for simple forgiveness. Some wounds could only be healed by justice. 3 days after confronting Martha, I found Lila crying in her room. Not the usual 9-year-old tears over scraped knees or playground disputes, but silent, shoulder-shaking sobs that made my heart splinter. Baby, what's wrong? I sat beside her, and she curled into me like she used to when she was smaller. Jessica said. She hiccuped. She said you're going to leave us like her mom left her family. The words hit like a physical blow. Jessica was Martha's next-door neighbor's daughter, and Martha's regular afternoon tea guest. Who told Jessica that? Lila wiped her eyes. She said her mom heard it from Grandma Martha. Is it true? Are you leaving? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from Carol, check your email. You need to see this. I held Lila tighter, kissing her head. No one is leaving anyone. Why don't you get ready for bed? I'll be right back to tuck you in. In the hallway, I opened Carol's email. It was a video from her security camera, showing Martha on Carol's porch yesterday. The audio was clear. I'm just so worried about Lila, Martha's voice dripped concern. With Aubrey's situation. The poor child needs stability. Nathan's considering custody arrangements. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the phone. She wasn't just spreading rumors anymore, she was laying groundwork. Building a case against me. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Paul, my father-in-law, shifting nervously on the porch. In 15 years of marriage, he'd never once visited without Martha. I know it's late, he said when I opened the door. But we need to talk. He pulled out a manila envelope, hands trembling slightly. Martha doesn't know I found these. She's been planning this for months. Inside were printouts of emails between Martha and a family court lawyer discussing grounds for custody evaluation. Fabricated evidence of my instability. Witness statements, all from her coffee circle friends, about my concerning behavior. Why are you showing me this? My voice sounded distant, even to myself. Paul's shoulders sagged. Because I failed Nathan by enabling her all these years. I won't fail my granddaughter too. Dad? Lila appeared at the top of the stairs, clutching Mr. Snuggles. Grandpa Paul? Paul's face crumpled. Hello, sweetheart. Is everything okay? No. Nothing was okay. My mother-in-law was trying to take my daughter. My marriage was in shambles. And somewhere in this mess, I'd lost sight of what mattered most, protecting Lila from all of it. Everything's fine, I lied, forcing a smile. Grandpa Paul just needed to drop something off. Back to bed, honey. After she disappeared, Paul spoke quietly. Martha's having lunch with the lawyer tomorrow. Noon at Le Petit Bistro. I understood what he wasn't saying. He was giving me a chance to get ahead of this. Why now? I asked. After all these years of staying silent? He touched the family photo on our wall last Christmas, all of us smiling, pretending everything was perfect. Because Martha's convinced herself she's protecting our family. But she's destroying it instead. He headed for the door, then paused. Whatever you do next. I'll testify if you need me to. After he left, I called my father. Dad? Remember when you said this was becoming a legal matter? We need to move faster. What happened? I stared at the custody documents, at Martha's carefully constructed web of lies. She's trying to take Lila. Silence, then, I'll make some calls. But Aubrey? This ends tomorrow. One way or another. I hung up and went to check on Lila. She was asleep, clutching Mr. Snuggles, the bear that started all this. I touched the spot where I'd found the first listening device, remembering how angry I'd been. That anger felt quaint now, compared to the cold fury settling in my bones. Martha wanted a war? Fine. But she'd forgotten something crucial. A mother protecting her child was the most dangerous opponent of all. Tomorrow at noon, she'd learn exactly how dangerous I could be. Le Petit Bistro buzzed with lunchtime chatter, but I barely heard it over the blood rushing in my ears. From my corner table, I watched Martha and her lawyer through the decorative partition. Their voices carried just enough. The surveillance evidence is compelling, the lawyer said, shuffling papers. Combined with the neighbor testimonies. And the psychological evaluation? Martha's perfectly manicured nails drummed the table. Already arranged. Judge Harrison owes me a favor. I pressed record on my phone, hidden beneath my napkin. Henry sat beside me, his presence steady and grounding. The restraining order complicates things, Martha continued. Nathan's weakness. Temporary setback, the lawyer assured her. Once we present evidence of your daughter-in-law's instability. My phone buzzed. A text from Carol, Martha's friends are at your house. Something about collecting evidence. The room tilted. I showed Henry the message. Go, he whispered. I'll handle things here. I was halfway to my car when Nathan called. Why is my mother's bridge club going through our house? You tell me. I gunned the engine. You gave them a key, didn't you? Silence. Then, they said they were dropping off casseroles. Because you've been struggling. Struggling? I laughed, harsh and broken. Your mother's at lunch with a lawyer right now, planning to take Lila from us. And you're still believing her lies? What lawyer? What are you? Ask your father. I hung up as I turned onto our street. For cars lined the curb, Martha's faithful followers, no doubt documenting my unstable home environment. They scattered like roaches when I burst through the door. Sandra, Martha's best friend, clutched a notebook. Patricia stood by the stairs, photographing something with her phone. Eleanor rushed past me, face flushed. Looking for evidence? I called after them. Here's some breaking and entering. Harassment. Conspiracy. We're concerned about Lila, Sandra started. No. You're Martha's puppets. And you're all trespassing. They fled, but the damage was done. I found their handiwork upstairs, drawers left open, papers disturbed, photos removed from frames. They'd been thorough, searching for anything that could paint me as an unfit mother. Nathan arrived as I was documenting the invasion. Jesus Christ. Finally seeing it? I gestured at our violated home. Or do you need more proof of your mother's manipulation? He picked up a scattered photo, Lila's last birthday. I talked to Dad. About the lawyer, the custody plans. His voice cracked. How did we get here? You know how. Every time your mother crossed a line, you looked away. Every time she undermined me, you chose her side. And now. My phone buzzed again. Henry, got everything on tape. Martha confessed to fabricating evidence. Coming to you now. And now what? Nathan asked. I showed him the text. Now we end this. But I need to know whose side you're really on. He stared at the birthday photo, at our smiling faces frozen in happier times. I filed the restraining order against her. Isn't that enough? She's trying to take our daughter, Nathan. Legal action, manipulated evidence, false psychological evaluations. She's destroying our family, and you're still trying to find middle ground? His phone chimed, probably Martha, spinning more lies. He ignored it. What do you need me to do? Testify. I met his eyes. Against your mother. Help me protect our daughter. The front door opened, Henry arriving with the recording. Nathan's phone chimed again. The moment stretched, taut with possibility and heartbreak. I can't testify against her, he finally said. She's my mother. And there it was. The final betrayal. The last thread snapping. Then I'll do it alone. I turned away, throat burning. But understand something, after this, there's no going back. You're choosing your mother over your daughter's safety. Over our marriage. Aubrey. Get out. My voice was steady, even as tears threatened. I'll have my lawyer contact you about custody arrangements. The real ones, not your mother's version. As Nathan left, I touched the photo he dropped, our last happy moment as a family. Tomorrow, I'd use Martha's own tactics against her. Tomorrow, I'd fight for my daughter with everything I had. But tonight, I'd mourn what was lost. And prepare for war. The courthouse steps felt endless as I climbed them, clutching my evidence folder. Martha stood at the top with her lawyer, wearing victory like another designer outfit. Behind her, Nathan avoided my eyes. Last chance to be reasonable, Martha's lawyer called down. Drop the harassment claims, and we can discuss visitation rights. Visitation rights. For my own daughter. The words made me stumble, but Henry's hand steadied my elbow. Save it for the judge, he said. Inside, Martha's performance was flawless. Concerned grandmother, worried about her unstable daughter-in-law. Her lawyer presented photos of my ransacked house, the same house her friends had violated. Testimonies about my erratic behavior, watching my daughter's school, documenting conversations, growing increasingly paranoid. Then came the psychiatric evaluation. The one I'd never taken. As you can see, Your Honor, Martha's lawyer gestured at the forged report. Mrs. Wheeler exhibits classic signs of paranoid personality disorder. Objection, Henry started, but the judge was already nodding, examining the fraudulent papers. These are serious concerns, Judge Harrison said. The same judge who owed Martha's lawyer a favor. When Nathan took the stand, I held my breath. This was his chance to tell the truth, to make things right. My wife. He paused, looking at his mother. She's been acting unstable. Accusing my mother of spying, claiming conspiracy. The rest of his testimony faded into white noise. I'd known he was weak, but this? This was betrayal beyond forgiveness. During the recess, I found him in the hallway. How much did she promise you? Full custody? Your inheritance? Aubrey, please. Mom's right, you need help. The only thing I need is for you to tell the truth. I am. But his eyes slid away. You're not well. The surveillance equipment you found, the accusations, the recordings. The recordings! I grabbed my phone, fumbling for the restaurant conversation. The proof that would expose everything. File not found. I checked again. And again. Everything, the recordings, the photos of the bugs, the neighbor's security footage, gone. Looking for something? Martha appeared beside us, her smile razor-sharp. Technology can be so unreliable. Phones getting wiped, cloud accounts being hacked. It's tragic, really. The floor seemed to tilt. She'd gotten to my phone. Somehow, she'd erased everything. Back in court, it all unraveled. Without evidence, my claims sounded delusional. Each witness, Martha's carefully coached friends, painted a picture of a woman spiraling into paranoia. Given the evidence presented, Judge Harrison intoned, I'm granting temporary custody to the father, with supervised visitation for Mrs. Wheeler. Pending completion of psychiatric evaluation and treatment. The words hit like physical blows. Temporary custody. Supervised visitation. For my own daughter. Additionally, a restraining order will be issued, preventing Mrs. Wheeler from coming within 500 feet of her mother-in-law. Martha's smile widened. She'd won. Completely. In the courthouse bathroom, I splashed water on my face, trying to breathe. The door opened, Martha, coming to gloat. I want you to understand something, she said, checking her lipstick in the mirror. This was never about Lila. This was about Nathan. About family loyalty. Loyalty? My laugh sounded hysterical even to me. You destroyed your son's marriage. You're traumatizing your granddaughter. I'm protecting them. From you. She turned, mask dropping. You were never good enough for my son. Never part of this family. Now everyone sees what I've always known, you're unstable. Dangerous. The truth will come out. What truth? Your evidence is gone. Your credibility is shot. Even Nathan thinks you're losing your mind. She patted my cheek. Take the psychiatric help, dear. It's your only chance to see Lila again. She left me there, gripping the sink, watching my world crumble in the mirror. Outside, Lila would be waiting. My daughter, who I couldn't hug without supervision. Who would be told her mother was sick, dangerous, crazy. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number, need help? Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Carter Park. Come alone. I stared at the message, remembering Martha's smirk, Nathan's betrayal, the judge's condemning words. I had nothing left to lose. Sometimes, rock bottom is where you find your strength. Or where you completely shatter. Tomorrow would decide which. Carter Park was empty at 10 a.m. except for a familiar figure on a bench, Paul, my father-in-law, looking older than I'd ever seen him. I made copies, he said without preamble, holding out a USB drive. Of everything. Martha's emails, bank records, the surveillance equipment purchases. Even the payment to the judge. My hands shook as I took it. Why now? Because yesterday, I watched my wife destroy an innocent woman to control our son. And I watched our son let it happen. A car door slammed nearby. Martha strode across the park, face twisted with rage. Paul! What are you doing? He stood, shoulders straight. What I should have done years ago. You're betraying your family? She reached for the USB drive, but I stepped back. Family? Paul's voice cracked. You destroyed our family. Every time you drove away Nathan's girlfriends. Every time you manipulated him. And now this, falsifying evidence, bribing a judge? I protected him. Protected us. Martha's composure cracked. She was going to take him away, just like all the others. No, Martha. You took him away. From everyone who ever loved him. Nathan appeared at the park entrance, drawn by his mother's rising voice. He froze, seeing us all there. It's over, I said, holding up the drive. Everything's here, the wiretaps, the fake psychiatric report, the bribed judge. Your mother's whole operation. Nathan, darling, Martha started, but Paul cut her off. Tell him, Martha. Tell him about the other women. How many potential daughters-in-law have you driven away? How many lives have you ruined? She's lying to you, Paul, Nathan said, but uncertainty crept into his voice. Mom would never. The teddy bear bug? I interrupted. That was ordered through Maxwell Security. Paid for with your mother's credit card. The fake psychiatric evaluation? Written by her bridge partner's nephew. The judge? Received a generous donation to his re-election campaign 3 days before our hearing. Martha lunged for the drive. I dodged, and she stumbled, mask finally shattering completely. You ungrateful bitch. After everything I've done for this family. Done for this family? Paul's quiet voice cut through her rage. You mean like having our son's college girlfriend committed to a psychiatric facility? Or spreading rumors about his law school sweetheart until she left the state? Nathan staggered like he'd been hit. What? Sarah Martinez, Paul continued. Rebecca Chen. And now Aubrey. All unstable. All dangerous. All driven away because they threatened your control. I did it for you. Martha grabbed Nathan's arm. They weren't good enough. None of them understood family loyalty like we do. Loyalty? Nathan pulled away. You made me think my wife was crazy. You tried to take my daughter away. To protect you. Everything I did was for yourself, I finished. But it's done now. The evidence goes to the ethics board tomorrow. The judge will face investigation. Your friends will be charged with breaking and entering. You can't prove anything. Paul stepped forward. I can. I've watched you destroy lives for 30 years, Martha. I kept quiet, made excuses. No more. Martha's face contorted. She turned to Nathan, reaching for him. Darling, please. But Nathan was staring at the USB drive, at the proof of his mother's manipulation. At the wreckage of his marriage, his family, his trust. "I choose my daughter," he said quietly. "I choose my wife." Martha crumpled, decades of control slipping away. But I felt no satisfaction, no triumph. Only exhaustion and a deep, aching sadness for the family she destroyed. "The restraining order stays," I told her. "But this time, it's real. Stay away from my daughter. Stay away from my family." As we left the park, Paul to his car, Nathan to his mother's side despite everything, I realized something. Revenge wasn't about destroying your enemy. Sometimes, it was about finally breaking free. Tomorrow, I'd rebuild my life. But today, watching Martha sob on a park bench, I understood that she'd lost far more than I ever could have taken from her. She'd lost everything. And she had no one to blame but herself. The judge's revised custody ruling sat unopened on my kitchen counter while Lila played in the backyard of our new home. Through the window, I watched her showing Mr. Snuggles, newly restored and bug-free, how to do cartwheels. My phone buzzed. "Nathan. Did you get the envelope? Just arrived. I won't contest whatever it says." His voice was tired, heavy with the weight of recent months. "You deserve full custody after everything." I watched Lila tumble in the grass, her laughter carrying through the open window. "She needs her father, Nathan. Even if I can't trust her husband anymore." The doorbell rang. Paul stood on the porch, holding a cardboard box. "Found these while packing up the house," he said, setting it down. "Thought you should have them." Inside were photo albums, birthday cards, wedding memories, pieces of a life Martha had tried to erase. And beneath them, a leather-bound journal. "Martha's," Paul explained. I think you should read it." Later that night, after Lila was asleep, I opened the journal. Martha's precise handwriting filled pages with familiar names: Sarah Martinez, Rebecca Chin, all Nathan's previous relationships. Each entry detailed perceived threats, planned interventions, calculated destructions. Then I found my name. "Aubrey fights back," she'd written. "The others gave up, walked away. She's dangerous, she'll take Nathan from me. I can't lose another child. Not after James." I called Paul. "Who's James?" Silence crackled across the line. "Nathan's twin brother. He died when they were 3. Martha. She never recovered. Started seeing threats everywhere. Became obsessed with controlling Nathan, protecting him. Understanding didn't bring forgiveness, but it brought something else: release. Martha wasn't just a monster, she was a broken woman who turned her pain into poison." The next morning, I opened the custody ruling. Joint custody, with conditions: Nathan would attend therapy, Martha would maintain the restraining order. And our family counselor would oversee transitions. As I drove Lila to her father's house, she clutched Mr. Snuggles. "Is Grandma Martha sick?" she asked suddenly. "In a way, honey. Sometimes people get hurt inside, and they hurt others because they're scared. Like when I pushed Jenny at school because I was scared of losing my best friend." My throat tightened. Something like that. Nathan waited in his driveway, not our old house, but a small rental across town. Away from Martha's influence. "Dad!" Lila ran to him, bear tucked under her arm. "I found Martha's journal," I said quietly while Lila explored Nathan's new garden. "About James." He stiffened. "I barely remember him." "But Mom." "She remembers everything. Every day, every moment." It doesn't excuse what she did. No. He watched Lila examining a butterfly bush. But maybe it explains it. The therapist says. Nathan. I touched his arm, the first contact in months. I'm not interested in Martha's healing journey. I'm interested in our daughters. He nodded, understanding the boundaries being drawn. She's lucky to have you as her mother. And her father, I added, surprising myself with the sincerity. When he remembers to be one. That evening, I sat in my new garden, reading Martha's journal one last time. Not for revenge or validation, but to understand the shape of the wound that had nearly destroyed my family. The last entry was recent. I see now what I've become. What I've lost. Nathan, James, everything. Perhaps this is my punishment, to finally recognize the monster in the mirror. I closed the journal and watched the sunset paint my garden gold. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, co-parenting with Nathan, helping Lila understand, building a life from the ashes of the old one. But tonight, I understood something vital. True justice isn't about making others suffer. It's about breaking cycles of pain before they poison another generation. I took Martha's journal inside, placing it on a high shelf. Not to keep, not to use, but to remember, sometimes the greatest victory is simply refusing to become what hurt you.